All right, good morning, everybody. So we're going to continue on figuring out what we're going to add on to our principles form. So the next thing on our list is compositional movement. So remember, compositional movement is having, making your eye move around an artwork. So for me, what I decided to do, and I split it between the edges, because I needed to have some stuffs. Okay, so here's what this corner is going to look like once it's all folded up. Here, let me do it this way. Can I get it to show? Oh, it's so close. Oh, there it goes. Ha ha ha. Oh, you can kind of see it. Okay. So can you see that ring that goes right around the center here? And then the rings go out and they get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they start to make a circular pattern. Ooh, if I let go. Okay, so there's a ring here and that goes around and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and turns into these little dots. So I'm using that as my compositional movement, because once I color it in and everything, I think if I color it really boldly, that'll kind of stand out a little bit. So you can see your eye will notice the big one first, and then it'll kind of follow along to see what's next, right? So I think I'm going to use it for that, right? There's actually a couple different things that I could use that one for, but I'm going to go for compositional movement. So for mine, I'm going to draw this one, right? So I'm going to draw this one. So draw it. And then remember what media I'm going to use. So I think I'm going to do the Micron pen, because, I already did. And then I think I'm going to do colored pencil again. Colored pencil. I might do pen though. Who knows? I don't know. And like I said, if you end up changing your media because you decide, ooh, but what if I do this, and you get a better idea, that's always okay. So to describe it, I'm going to have rings that get smaller and rotate around a point. Now, you don't have to have yours rotate. You could create compositional movement. Like this could almost count as compositional movement, because your eye kind of starts in one spot and flows around. It's like, whoa, look at that, right? So I've actually got a couple places where I could do that, and that's totally fine. So you can overlap, using things for other things. But we're going to move on to progressive rhythm. So remember, progressive rhythm is where something gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, or smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. You're somehow going to be able to see the change, right? You're going to be able to predict what comes next. Okay. Regular rhythm, that one's just basically like a pauses, starts and stops that are in a regular pattern. So like if it's like boom, 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 and you can predict what comes next, and but it does have you pause, that would be a regular rhythm. So for like me, I'm gonna have like these 4 little doodads here are gonna go together as, they're gonna be folded together and make like a little spirally bit. They'll look kind of like this, right there. But those for me create, if I start here and I go around and around, it's going to be like, oh, here's a stop. Oh, here's a stop. Oh, here's a stop. Oh, here's a stop. And I could continue going on, right? So I'm going to use that as my regular rhythm, but I could also, use these little shapes. So I could say like, oh, look at this regular rhythm. Like I can predict what comes next, and it makes my eye stop, right? So I could use, something like that too. I'm going to use these for my patterns later though. So for regular rhythm, I'm going to use this design. I'm going to do the I'm going to draw it. I think I'm going to, so I added on, like I said, I added on a cool little patterny thing, a little Zentangle pattern. So I'm going to say Zentangle Oh, I can't even spell. Okay, Zentangle. We'll just go. Oh, look, it says Zentangle. Zentangle design. I'm gonna say like around the top edge to make a regular pauses. Around the top to make the eye pause. Okay. And I think I'm gonna do, like, I haven't decided what I'm gonna do for that. I'm gonna hold off on deciding what I want to do for that. And then flowing rhythm. So I'll come back to progressive rhythm in a second. So flowing rhythm, that one's like this one here, right? Because the flowing rhythm is something that goes across, but it also gives pause for your eyes. So like this one that I did with the movement, and it just kind of kept going and going and going. That one made your eye move, but you didn't necessarily stop at every single ring. But this one right here, because I've got these little kind of like leafy things, you're like, ooh, leaf, ooh, ooh, leaf, ooh, ooh, leaf, ooh, ooh, leaf, ooh. Right? You get it? So because there's these areas where you pause, that creates the flowing rhythm as opposed to just the compositional movement. Okay. So I'm going to draw it again. Draw it. And I'm going to say like, organic Zentangle. Organic Zentangle. Okay. So then progressive rhythm. So like we said, the progressive rhythm is where something changes. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, I got to figure out how I want to add in my progressive rhythm. So I could go back and say, well, I know this has compositional movement, but maybe if I change colors in my little rings here, because they do change, you can predict what comes next. Maybe if I do like a change in color. So if I say like blue and green and blue and green and blue and green and blue and green. So it changes, but you can tell, or maybe a rainbow. Because you can, you know what a rainbow is. So maybe if I start with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, then you know what comes next, right? I think that's what I'm going to do. So this is part of why we're planning it out, because you can get really great ideas just kind of trying to figure out like, how the heck am I going to add that in, right? So I'm going to color my progressive rhythm, and I'm going to use, so I'm just going to draw arrow, use this, weep. Oh wait, that was supposed to be over here. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I'll just move these back and forth. So I'm going to use colored pencils. I just got so excited with my idea. I'm going to use this little section and color it like a rainbow to add on that progressive rhythm and to move it away from just compositional movement and move it onto progressive rhythm. So that's what I'm going to do. And like I said, I'm going to come back and fill in like, what media do I want to use in a little bit. All right. So go ahead, take a break, fill this out, think about what you think you want to do. If you have ideas and you want to kind of lightly sketch it on your paper in pencil, you can do that. Just don't do anything in pen yet, because I want to make sure that we get everything on there before you decide to ink stuff in and make it permanent, right? So go ahead and fill that part out, and I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks, everybody.